Hey, what's going on, everybody? Howie Spangler here. Tales from the Green Room podcast, episode number 43. I'm excited. I'm trying out my new SM7B. I'm on the road right now, and I think it sounds good. Let me know what you think. All right, on the road with Real Big Fish. Had a great Thanksgiving with the family. Ate a bunch of food, stuffed myself, the usual. It's great to be home for about 3 weeks or so since the first leg of this tour. But you get to take care of things. I have impressively fast Wi-Fi that I just love at home. I've got a nice comfy bed and of course my family and everything. So it's been great. Homemade dinners, So we're back. We're in Clifton Park, New York today, awaiting sound check. The mighty Real Big Fish has just gotten done sound checking. And I'm on our little bus by myself. I decided I wanted to do a podcast, my first podcast on the road with these new mics, and I'm using one of the mics, just for me. But so I figured I'd sneak away real quick. I've got merch. If you haven't heard, I've got merch for sale. Tales from the Green Room. We've got some pretty cool merch out there. If you go to my website, howiespangler.com, hit the store link up top. Takes you to my little store, my cool little beachy store, beachside tees. And I just love that word, beachside. And I've got some t-shirts and some hoodies, sweatshirts, iPhone cases, coffee mug. A lot of you are digging the coffee mug, I see. Had quite a few orders of that, so thanks so much. It's really, really cool. It's just another way for you to support the podcast. If you haven't already, please go check it out. I spent a lot of time working on the designs. I got more stuff coming too. Whatever bench. So I decided to turn that into a t-shirt design, and so far it seems like people are into that. So I'll be announcing the release of that soon. I don't want to do everything all at once. Whatever bench. Can't fucking handle that. Bunch. On tour with Real Big Fish, Clifton Park, New York. Last night in Sayreville, New Jersey was amazing. We didn't run into Bon Jovi. I was really hoping we would. Anyone from the band would have been great, but we did not. They're from there, and it just would have been cool if they would have came out and represented, I don't know if those guys even still live there anymore. I guess, where are we going tomorrow? It's always weird when I do these solo podcasts. I've gotten used to talking to someone else on the phone or whatever, and I had the rest of my band on recently. It's kind of cool to bounce off other people. So sometimes I feel like I'm just talking to myself, and I try not to say and which I do all the time. And I just don't like long pauses. They weird me out. It's awkward for me, and I don't want to make it awkward for you, So I feel like I have to keep talking. And that's just fucking weird. So, there it is again. Now you're going to be paying attention to that the rest of the episode, and I'm sorry. Tomorrow, Baltimore. We're going to be home in Baltimore, playing the Baltimore Soundstage. And looking forward to that. Always fun, always a banger. Hometown shows. They're insane, family members and friends. And it gets fucking wild. And we're not headlining tomorrow, so hopefully it won't be as wild, I don't want to scare the other bands with my friends or crazy family members. My kids are coming. That's going to be fun. They haven't seen us play in a long time. And we're going to be serving our beer, the Summer Tropical IPA. It's 6% mango, right? The mango flavor in there, amongst some other flavors. Oliver Brewing Company out of Baltimore. They made it. They brewed it. And we slapped our name on it, gave it a name and a logo, and we collabed. And so far, the reviews have been great. People seem to love it. I've had a few myself, and they're pretty damn good. And I'm not much of an IPA guy. If you don't like IPAs, chances are you're not going to like it. It's one of those, heavier beers that, the tastier kind that people enjoy. But if you're into like Bud Light or PBR and that's all you like to drink, you're probably not going to like this beer. But you should still give it a shot. You should give it a try anyway. It is really good. It's tasty. So, I don't know if you guys can hear the hum of the bus right now. It's just a rumble. I'll listen later. Like I said, this is the first time that I'm really doing this. Anyway, okay, so Baltimore, and then I should have been pulling this up on my phone the whole time. I don't want to waste your time, people. It's like you've got things to do. You have places to go. Those kids got to get to school. Got to get that workout in. Whatever it is you're doing. And I don't want to waste your time. So, here we go. Okay. So, November 27th, that is on Tuesday. We're going to be in Lynchburg, VA. Lynchburg, Virginia, Phase 2. November 28th, which is Wednesday, at the Norva in Norfolk. Love that venue. November 29th at Georgia Theater in Athens, Georgia. And November 30th. That's the last show with the Real Big Fish, by the way. And we are the Union. And then we're going to do some headliners down in Florida to kind of close out the year. November 30th in Gainesville at the High Dive. December 1st at Beachside Tavern in New Smyrna Beach. December 2nd at the Wilbury in Tallahassee. December 5th at the Social in Orlando. December 6th at Debauchery in Melbourne. December 7th at Janice Live in St. Pete. December 8th at Jack Rabbit's in Jacksonville. And then we're finishing off the year at Looney's Pub in Bel Air, December 22nd, right before Christmas. That place gets insane, so I don't even know how they're doing tickets for that or what, but yeah, when you get to the bar, finally, get like 4 drinks. Order like 4 fucking drinks, and then you can somehow make your way back to your table or the back of the room or wherever you're standing with your friends. Always silly there, but fun. Next year, man, we're kicking it off January, doing some shows with Badfish. Middle of January, kind of doing East Coast, like Southern, like Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia. So look for that. And then we're heading out to California for the One Love Festival in February. It's crazy how the year just gets away, right? I'm already into February with dates. It's nuts. But that's what it's all about, people. It's all about just, building a dream. And mine started when I was a little kid. And here we are, playing music, and I'm, playing for people, and you're, buying t-shirts and wearing our band on your chest or whatever, going out in the public. And that's just a really crazy and awesome thing for us. And then I get to sit here on the side and talk to you, just kind of babble about bullshit that, I'm into on the podcast here. So I talked to Aaron Barrett from Real Big Fish, and he's down to do an episode with me. So hopefully I'm going to get up with him this week. And I'd love to even talk to the other guys from Real Big Fish. Those guys always have other stuff going on as well. Okay, today I decided that I would talk about tips for being on the road. What to expect when expecting that you'll be on the road. And what to do, what not to do. And, just some of the bullshit that's happened. And I just want you to not have to go through the things that I went through. It's like, I kind of do. I feel like some of this shit is a rite of passage. You have to do some of these things to get respect and then appreciate the good things that come from all of it. Right? Okay, episode 43, Tales from the Green Room. Here we go. Okay, first off, I haven't prepared. I don't have anything written down. I'm going off the noggin. Straight from the brain here. You're getting fucking brain. All right? Who wants brain? Put your hands up. Who wants brain? I can't see you through the radio, but you're about to get some brain, okay? Some skilled brain from 2 decades of being in this fucking band that I've been in. Okay, so, when you work with, say you work with a radio guy, right? You got a little money for a radio campaign. You feel like you got a song you feel like it's going to kill on the radio. People are going to fucking love it, right? Oh my God, people are going to love my song on the radio. It's such a good song. This is the best song I've ever written. And now we're going to hire a guy or girl to work it at radio. This should probably be an entirely different podcast. I'll keep that part short. But yeah, we should talk about that in the future. I've done plenty of those things. Lots to talk about. Okay, so sometimes your radio person that you hire, you hire them because they work with radio PDs, program directors, music directors, all over the country, right? And you're kind of paying for the relationship, and they get you in, and usually you'll do something which is called AAA, and that's like the Sunday night shows, the 2-hour like new music things. Sometimes during the week, I know like Philly, 104.5 in Philly, they do the new music. No, something new. They do something new in the afternoon. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon, which is great because it's like right in the middle of the day, you know. The Sunday shows are great too, but you know, it's probably not when not as many people are listening, but still be grateful that you're getting a song played on the radio, you know. And so what their job is, they shop you to these stations, these PDs or MDs. I'm not sure what the difference is, to be honest. I'm going to have to look that up. Music director, program director. So they shop to these people, and they've had a relationship with them, been working for years with them. And so it's easy for them to just put it on their desk, and they'll play it that following Sunday or whatever it is. And we once had a guy that did this for us, and he was working with, supposedly, there was a show out in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it was like this festival, just an outdoor show kind of thing. It wasn't much of a festival when we got there, but in front of this like wannabe Buffalo Wild Wings, like the secondhand one, like more independent chain, I guess. And so we get there, and we got free wings, which was great. We drove, I think it's 1,200 miles from where I live to Lincoln, Nebraska. And so we get there, and we had an okay crowd. It wasn't terrible, but there was no radio. There was no radio station. It was supposedly a radio station show, a radio show, right? And usually what happens is when you do a radio show, that station will play your band, you know, a couple times a day or whatever, leading up to the festival. And it's a way to get radio play, or way to get radio play. And so we're like, yeah, sure. So we drive 1,200 miles. It's one fucking show. We didn't route any shows out, no shows back, right? We're like, cool, just go do this radio show, whatever. I don't even remember if we got paid or not. But we go do the show. There is no fucking alternative radio station in Lincoln, Nebraska at the time. This is like 5 or 6 years ago. And if there was, they weren't there. They did not show up. So maybe there was a station, but they did not show up. So we played the show, and it was just like any other show at that time. Had an okay draw. It was outside. Luckily, it didn't rain or anything. It wasn't cold. It was nice. We got our free wings, and then we got back in the van and drove 1,200 miles back home. So a little bit salty about that, right? It was kind of a bummer. It was cool to go play it for people, but to drive that far, you know, a 2,400 mile round trip, you know, you can think about how you'd feel. You know, 1,200 miles in the van with like 6 other dudes, you know, it gets kind of heavy, right? So make sure if you're doing a radio campaign and you go do this cool. You go play for free when you work with radio stations, because it's like a favor for them, and it's also you're getting in return. You're getting airplay and recognition, and it could lead to something else. You never know. So you go do these things, right? Make sure if you're gonna do a show that's 1,200 miles from your house, you make sure there is indeed a radio station. If they tell you it's a radio show and there's no radio station when you get there, oh man, just make sure that everything's in order before you say yes. You know what I'm saying? That's just one other thing that happened to us, and we had to learn the hard way. Okay. Being on the road. Okay, what we used to do was, back in the day before hotels and things like that, we'd stay at people's houses. A lot of times it was people we didn't know. They would just say, people would come up to us at the merch table and say, hey, you guys got a place to crash tonight? Come back to our place, and it's rad. Or we'd say, hey, from stage, we need a place to stay tonight if anybody can help out. And man, the fucking hospitality around this country is amazing. All the bad shit that happens all the time, you think the world's going to end. God damn, there's so many good people out there that'll just take you in, feed you, use the shower, whatever. You just feel like home, do your laundry. And so back in those days, there were no hotels, and there wasn't a lot of pay. There wasn't a lot of money going around. We weren't really paying bills, or I think maybe we were paying some bills, but it's a lot better today. Let's put it that way. So sleeping on couches, things like that. One of the things is that when you're in a van, you can't have a refrigerator, right? And you could get a generator if you wanted to. It would just be a pain in the dick. You wouldn't want to do that. You have to haul it outside of the vehicle, and it'd just be whatever. And then we set ourselves up with an inverter that would power shit. Like we could charge our laptops, our phones, whatever. We had video games set up back in the day, an old Xbox that we converted into like a RetroPie. So it had all the old games, which was great. So we opted for the cooler. So we got a cooler. And it was cheaper because we would pay ourselves per diem, $10 a day. Everybody got $10 a day, and that's how you would eat. And hopefully the venue would feed you later, or you could stay with somebody and they could bring you dinner or make you dinner after the show or whatever, right? So that's kind of how you survived, right? So we got a cooler, and one of the things that we realized was that, well, we could get lunch meat and bread, right, and make sandwiches. Just get a couple loaves of bread, a couple packages of meat, and eat turkey sandwiches every day, right, or whatever. And it was great because you're saving money. Every couple of days you're getting another $10, whatever it is, or another $20 every couple of days. And so it was great until the ice melted, right? And maybe you didn't make a sandwich that day. Maybe someone didn't make a sandwich. We didn't go into the cooler, right? And the next time you go to make a sandwich, you've got meat water. Meat water. You open the cooler, and there's this fucking stench of just like, meat. Meat. Ma! Meat! Meat water! Right? And it's awful. And you don't want to, you still could eat the meat, right? You still could, but we were just over. We're like, nah, this meat's getting tossed the fuck out. We're not eating this meat. So we tossed the meat. And then you got to drain the water, and then you got to wipe the cooler down. It's gross. It's just film, meat film. There's meat film all over, like the Coke cans and beer bottles and things like that. Yeah. So we were like, okay, solution time. What do we do to solve the meat water problem? Okay. So we went and got these containers that were sealable. Like not just the ones that like the typical like Tupperware, like pop top thing. We actually got the ones, the top goes on it, and that has these little flaps that flip down on the sides, and there's like a seal. Like a seal there all the way around. And we're like, fuck yeah. No more meat water. Right? That's it. We're done with the meat water. It's gone. End of days for the meat water. So, load it up with ice. Get some new meat. Put it in the containers. Make some sandwiches over a couple days. And guess what happens? The fucking water gets into the container anyway. Right? So we're just like, fuck it. No more meat. We're not gonna fuck it. We're not gonna eat anymore. So we never did come up with another solution. There's really no resolution to that story. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna bring meat, think of something really clever, because we couldn't do it. We couldn't handle it. The meat water prevailed. We were drowning in meat water. So don't do that, or just do better. Okay. More ideas for the road here. So a lot of times you need Sharpies, for the merch table. People want their stuff signed. And if you're not traveling with a printer, which you should be traveling with a printer. So while I'm here, I might as well talk about this real quick. Get yourself a printer, and I will post the link to the damn printer that we got. I can't remember the name. It's an HP. It's the fucking 200. I can't remember. It's a mobile printer. I can't remember how much it costs. It's like $150, $200. It's not like on the cheap, but man, it's rad. If you're ready to move away from writing your set lists on a paper plate or an old fucking napkin or the back of a pizza box, which we've done many, many times. If you're over that and you want to go pro, get a printer and print out your set lists. And I'll post a link to the printer that we have. It's dope. And the thing, you never have to change the ink, I think like once a year or like every 10 months or so. It's awesome. It's great. It's the best printer we've ever had. Okay. So back to the Sharpies thing, right? You got to have a Sharpie for the merch table. People want their stuff signed, and you run out of Sharpies a lot. They get lost. A fan will borrow it to go find another band member, get them to sign or whatever, and they won't bring it back. Or sometimes the band members don't give it back like we're supposed to, and the merch guys get mad at us for that. Merch guys get thoroughly upset. And I don't want an unhappy crew. I want a happy crew, right? Happy crew. Happy you. You? Happy you. Didn't rhyme with life. Okay. Can you guys tell I'm in a goofy mood? I don't know why I'm in a goofy mood. I just am. Okay, so what you get when you go on the road as a touring band, you get this thing called a rider, right? And on the rider is like your list of demands. Things that you better fucking have in the green room, or we're not gonna fucking play. Okay? It's funny, man. We send this rider out, and it's got, you get creative. You put a bunch of shit on there. We don't do anything silly like baby bottles or like naked pictures of B. Arthur or anything like that. It's not like that, but there's a lot of shit on there. And most of the time, we get a big black X. Someone they're like, fuck these guys, right? They scratch it all out. Usually it's like chips, bottle of Jameson, some beers, and a case of water. That's pretty much all. Oh, and fucking tortilla chips with salsa. That's usually, Sometimes, man, you'll get everything. It's great. College shows are great for that. They'll fucking give you everything on the list. It's awesome. And then it just turns into bus stock. You take all that shit, you bring it back. Solo cups, everything. You bring it all back because that's yours. One of the things that we put on there was a box of Sharpies. And this is what I mean, get creative. Put a box of Sharpies on there. Every now and then, you get a box of Sharpies for free. It's crazy. It's not really free. It kind of comes out of the back end anyway. You're still paying for it. Just one less thing you have to do. Like, oh shit, it's a box of Sharpies right there. Right? And then you got a happy merch guy. No one has to die. Everyone's happy. Okay, here's something else that I've always found really silly. When a band has a trailer and they put their fucking band logo. And I saw one band had their fucking picture. Like the 4 dudes in their stupid clothes, you know, for the photo shoot on the back of their trailer. And I've only seen that band once, and I never saw them ever again. And that was 11 years ago. That was 2007. And I couldn't fucking believe it. I was like, dude, first off, why is your fucking picture on there? That's ridiculous, right? Secondly, why do you have your name all over the fucking trailer? Dude, you know what that says? Hey, what's up? We're a band. Hey, robber people, thieves. Hey, we got a bunch of expensive shit in here that you could sell really quickly. Just take it. It's there. It's in the back. That's what that says. That shit is ridiculous. Whenever I see a band with their name on their fucking trailer, that shit's crazy to me, man. Like, it's one thing to have like band stickers on the back, which we did do that on our first trailer, and that was probably dumb. But, you know, it could maybe pass for like bumper stickers. Like, people do that to their cars and shit too. And a lot of those people probably don't know that they're bands, maybe when they drive by or whatever. But like, put your fucking name and like, you might as well like make your trailer see-through. Just make it like plexiglass all the way around, just so you can see all the shit inside it. I don't know. To me, that's just ridiculous. Don't do that. Like, there are plenty of bands that get their shit robbed on the road, and it's one of the scariest things. We've been robbed 3 or 4 times now. They've always broken into the van itself and stolen things. And we've been lucky enough to not have to deal with the trailer situation, because if you talk about a tour killer, man, oh my God. Losing all the gear. Get insured. Get insured. And if I don't recall the name of the company that we use, but if you want to know, if you're in a band and you want to know who we use for equipment insurance, hit me in the DM on Instagram, Howi Spangler, and I'll give you the info. Yeah, get insured and take your fucking name off your trailer. It's shit's stupid. We had a trailer, like our second or third trailer. We're on like trailer number 5 now, I think. And it actually had it was a Boy Scout trailer. It had like a Boy Scout troop on it. I think it was Troop 224. And it was like names of like these kids, like Cub Scouts and shit. Had the big logo on both sides. And we would be driving and people would like look in the window at us, and we'd look over and like they'd give us like the fucking Cub Scout salute, you know? And we just throw it back. It was rad. It was a fun time. And that got passed down to Bumpin' Uglies had it for a while. And then I think they sold it to Pasadena as well, which is another band from Maryland. You should, Joey Harcum is the singer of that band. He's doing his own thing now, but go check him out. Amazing voice, amazing talent, really good songwriter. Joey Harcum. But yeah, so it's been in the family. We kept it in the family. But that was like the closest we got to like logos or anything, any kind of markings, distinguishable marks, you know, on the stuff. But yeah, shit was silly. Speaking of trailers, you want to make sure your trailer has brakes on it. So important, man, especially when you're traveling through the mountains, like going through Colorado, you know, or like up in the Pacific Northwest. It gets hairy sometimes, especially when the snow starts coming down. Man, you want those brakes on the trailer, because the last thing you need is like 4 or 5 tons of shit pushing your van down a steep hill, like a 7% grade in the winter. Shit is scary. I was doing 20 miles an hour, maybe 15 miles an hour down a hill. I think it was in Maine, like 2-3 winters ago. And people were so bummed out. It was like 7 in the morning and people were behind me and they couldn't go around me. And I had my flashers on and everything, but they couldn't go around at the time. It was a no passing zone. So for like a half hour, 40 minutes, I had people just behind me going down this long fucking steep grade, and they're honking and shit. It was like, dude, I've got a heavy thing here, and we're on a cliff, so fuck you, right? Get brakes on the trailer. Okay, how to be a good support band. This is important here. I've kind of mentioned this before on like a mini pod, I think. But support bands, those are the bands that open up for your favorite band. When you go see a band and the first band or two, that's a support band, okay? A lot of times lesser known. So, and bands like my band and every other band that I know are happy to take those gigs because it gets you in front of more people, this and that. Sometimes you play with a band that you really love or really respect, maybe you've been listening to for a long time. I'm on tour with Real Big Fish right now, not unlike that situation, okay? So like, yeah, I get starstruck. I do. I'm a normal person, right? When I meet people that I like fell in love with their music and it got me through heavy shit as a teenager, you know, when I meet someone like that, it's a special time. And you do your best. I'm better at it now than I was 10 years ago. When we first met 311, we were a bunch of idiots. We were a bunch of schoolgirls. And we even got in trouble one time. We got in trouble one time because we were bugging him too much. And the tour manager came up and was like, fucking knock it off. We're like, ah, fuck, sorry. Damn it. All right. I don't think they knew anything about it, but yeah, maybe they did. I don't know, but yeah, we got a talking to, stern talking to. And rightfully so, because that shit, and bands like that, super cool. Like all the bands we play with, the bigger bands, super cool, and they will totally, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Entertain you, or humor. They'll humor you. They'll deal with it. They'll be cool. Oh, hey man, what's going on? Like deep down, they're like, dude, go the fuck away. Oh my god, this is the last thing I want to do right now, right? Because they've been on tour. They're like, doing the thing, and I totally get it. So when you go out on tour with one of your favorite bands or a band that you just love or whatever, don't, especially not the first day, not the second day, give it a fucking week. Let it happen organically. Don't run in there and be like, hey man, I just want to say hi. I love you and you're fucking amazing. And you did all this stuff for me. Yeah. Right? Like that. So you don't want to be that guy. Don't be that fucking guy. And I got wasted on the first tour we did with Real Big Fish. I was up there hanging out because I knew Billy, their trombone player. Super cool guy. And we were up there hanging out, and Aaron was over there chilling with his soon-to-be wife. And I wasn't saying anything. I was just kind of like chilling, And I had already talked to him a little bit, but nothing extensive. And Billy's like, I'm like drunk, and they were about to go on, and Billy's like, hey, Aaron, Howie wants to sing Beer with You. I was like, shut up, Billy! Like, so embarrassed, man. I was embarrassed, right? But Aaron's like super cool, and he's just like, oh yeah, dude, that'd be fun. Yeah, come on up, man. Aaron's not the type of guy that to ask you to, hey, come on stage with us. Like, but if you do it, I always ask permission first, like from their stage manager and all that. I don't just run up there. I'm like, hey, is it cool if I run up? Have respect, you know what I mean? Don't ruin the show. Don't fucking plow into the guys because you're excited, spilling your beer all over them, which I've done before as well. I did that to Dirty Heads. It was like the last show of the tour with those guys in 2011 after they were blowing up because of Lay Me Down. And I ran out there and threw my arm around Duddy, and I had a beer, and I spilled my beer down like the front of his shirt. It was like this white T-shirt. And he was looking all crisp, looking all fresh. And I spilled all over him, probably on his fucking pedal board. I was singing the song, I think I was singing Stand Tall with him. And yeah, it was just stupid. It was silly. Like those types of things, avoid that shit. Make sure you're homies and make sure it's cool and play it fucking cool. Don't be a fangirl. Just get up there and play it cool. Do your job, and they'll come to you. eventually. You know, you'll see them in passing, and just let it happen organically. Another good tip, don't drive your van like a fucking idiot. Don't drive like a crazy person. You know, you might drive your car crazy at home or whatever, but like, you're in a van, like, ours is a Sprinter. It's like top heavy now. You know, it's like driving a fucking wall, right? So like the wind, especially those crosswinds and like the plains when you get to like the Midwest, can be brutal. And like you're white knuckling it, just holding onto the steering wheel, just hoping you won't fly off the road. Keep it at 70 and below. Don't go any higher than that. There's no reason to go more than 70 miles an hour in the van. It's just for the safety, man. You got, like I said, 4 or 5 tons of shit behind you in your trailer pushing the van. It takes you that much longer to stop. We've had blowouts at 70 miles an hour that are just the scariest thing ever. Everybody thinks they're going to die. I wrote a song about it. It's called Gas Station Burrito. Look it up. It's on our new record, Detonate. Just, you know, just take your time, and if you got to be a little late to the gig, it's a lot better than, you know, getting in a horrible accident. So yeah, don't drive like a maniac. Back in the day, I didn't really know how to drive the van really well. I just would drive. I'd talk on the phone. I was doing like 80, 85, and the band's like yelling at me, slow the fuck down, you know, just dumbass fucking mid-20s kid. And, you know, you just learn things. Just take your time out there and be safe. There's a million of these things that I could say. I could go on forever, so I'll keep it short. Lastly, I think something really cool, a cool trick is get a rewards card. You know, hopefully your band is an LLC by now. If not, you should be working towards that. And get a band credit card, okay? A rewards card specifically. Something that gets cash back. So every time you get gas, and you get a lot of fucking gas, and every time you make a purchase at Guitar Center, you know, or whatever it is, use that thing for everything. Don't let it get out of hand. Like, use the card and then pay it off, you know, with your cash or your other account or whatever. But let those reward points stack up, and it'll eventually turn into, I mean, you could make, you know, a couple $100 after a while, and that's some hotel rooms, or maybe you want to take the band and the crew out, you know, for a big dinner one night. I mean, those types of things, you know. That's something we learned a couple years ago, and yeah, rewards card, huge. So think about that if you get a chance to do that. Yeah, that might be it for the tips. I don't know. There's plenty of these. I'll bring more to you in the future. But if you have any other questions, hit me up in the DM, man. Howie Spangler, Instagram. Hey. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's tons of other things that I can talk about. I just didn't want to make this too long of an episode, you know? So I'm hoping to do these more frequently. I got, like I said, the new gear, and I'm excited. And I'm lining up some very cool podcast interviews over the next month or so. So pay attention to that. I'll be announcing who I'm bringing on next month. Some really cool people that I think you're going to want to hear from. So I'm going to try to dig deep and get the story on how these bands got started and their whole philosophy and why they do it and some of the crazy shit they've been through, you know? So maybe we'll all learn something. But thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Like I said, we've got merch. Go to howiespangler.com, hit the store link, and that's one way to support the podcast. Another way to support the podcast, if you don't want to wear one of my t-shirts, that's totally fine too. You can go to talesfromthegreenroom.com, hit the support the podcast button, and you can sign up for a monthly. It's basically like a monthly donation to the podcast, 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99, and it's per month, and you can cancel anytime. And yeah, if you're down, that's great. If not, that's fine too. I'm just glad you're listening. So until next time, this is Howie Spangler. Follow me on the Instagram at Howie Spangler. Hit me up on the YouTube channel. Follow that shit, youtube.com/Howie Spangler. And we'll catch you next time on Tales from the Green Room. Have a good night or day or mid-afternoon. Okay, bye.